Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Gary Barnett Show with the head football coach of the Northwestern Wildcats. I'm Dave Eanet, and the Wildcats off to a 1-1 start after a 30-28 loss to Miami of Ohio this past week. And Gary, to paraphrase something you've said, the highs are never as high as the lows are low, but I suppose you didn't really need to experience it yourself to understand that.
No, I wanted to just talk and tell everybody that that's the way it is. I didn't want to have to go through it, but boy, in 1 week we went from the penthouse to the outhouse, and that's the way sports can be, and we experienced it firsthand, Dave.
Is this as tough, Gary, of a loss as you've experienced?
I think there aren't any losses that you don't take as being tough, but to do it this way and to be ahead and somewhat in control and to lose it on a set of circumstances the way we did, I've never experienced this, nor have I seen it done, and so I've been trying to figure out what the lesson that I'm supposed to learn from all this is.
What about the lesson your players learned?
Well, Dave, they've got to understand that every play is critical. That game is not over until the referees tell you it is, that every play can make a difference, and if you don't play hard all the time, no matter who you're playing against, the other team's going to win, and Miami proved that.
We're going to take a look at how this game went between the Wildcats and the Miami of Ohio Redskins as we continue on the Gary Barnett Show.
You put the film on, you study what they did at Notre Dame. And I said it all last week to the people in our part of the country. They didn't come out and trick Notre Dame or gimmick them, or they beat them the old-fashioned way. They earned it.
Welcome back to the Gary Barnett Show, coming to you this week from the Henry Crown Sports Pavilion and Aquatic Center on Northwestern's Evanston campus. Gary, this is really a marvelous facility that would make even the most posh downtown health clubs play second fiddle.
Well, it's a beautiful facility, and our students use it a lot. And as you see, it's got the beach right behind us, and the beach belongs to students as well. And so it's a well-used facility. They had to pull me up from that beach out of the water. The Coast Guard did about 10 o'clock this morning. So.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights. You felt good about your football team going into the game against Miami.
Dave, it was a perfect setup for us. We had 2 weeks to prepare. We were healthy. We had an opponent that we respected. We had good work, good practices, and it was just the way any coach would want it to begin.
And it did begin well for the Wildcats as we take a look, Northwestern and Miami. Gary, your players finally get their long-awaited chance to play in front of a friendly crowd.
Well, and it was a nice day. We had a decent crowd, Dave. It was pretty hot down on the turf, though. It was probably close to 90 degrees. This is Darnell on a 23-yard scamper, and he had 5 runs Saturday over 10 yards per run.
Opening series of the ball game, and you come up with a 2nd and 18 at the 27.
Well, this was supposed to be a quick 3-step pass, and everybody was covered, and so Dwayne scrambles, and so does Schnurr, and 2 guys making a play, and that's the kind of stuff we didn't have a year ago, and that was just good football.
Good start and a 7-0 lead, and here we'll see Schnurr again, this time to Autry.
This is a great throw and catch, and then a good block behind him by Toussaint Waterman, and that's one of 2 catches that Darnell makes. This one, I think, that's coming up is a hot situation. They blitz us, and Steve picks it up, and then Darnell does a great job of getting in the end zone after the catch.
You guys are off to a 14-0 lead now, still in the first quarter, and they've only had just a couple of offensive plays.
Well, we're moving the ball. We had some guys making some plays. Then this is Doherty, one of his incompletions, and Tim Sharp just decks him, and you'll see a replay of this thing, David. It's a great hit by Tim. He plays it just the way he should. And the young man drops the ball, and we're kind of playing the kind of defense we want to make.
Now on a 4th and 5, Paul Burton in punt formation, and you couldn't pin him back any deeper.
This was a perfect play. Casey Daly and Chris Martin, and that's as good as it gets. It's right on the 1-foot line. It was just great special teams play right there and a great punt.
Paul Burton accepting some, exchanging congratulations with Martin. And now here we look at Miami on offense. Quarterback Doherty to McCullough.
And Sutter and Rice are doing a good job in there. And we catch a little screen pass here to McCullough, and we're right where we need to be. And everybody's fitting, and we're really in control of their offense at this point in time.
First half, Gary, some success by your offense on third down. We saw the touchdown earlier. Here, this is 3rd and 8.
Well, this is just a great play by Dwayne. And Steve actually should have gone short based on the read to Darnell, but hurt his hand there a little bit too. But watch this play by Dwayne. That is just a great football play, and that's 2 weeks in a row he's come up with that kind of play.
Now here, the first of the problems on special teams.
Well, that was our left side. Let them through. We knew they were going to pressure us, and we did a poor job of technique there, and they blocked the punt and created what was a first, so I knew going to be some critical situations coming up.
21-7 at this point, and now late in the half, Miami on the move again.
Well, Casey Daly gets a late hit here and gets penalized, and he should. That's uncalled for, and we don't need to do that. And Doherty actually gets hurt from there, and then we dodge a bullet right here at the half. Their kicker misses a field goal, and it could have been 21-10, and we were just lucky right there to get off the field with that kind of a break.
21-7, the Northwestern lead at halftime. Gary, a 21-7 lead at halftime, and despite the blocked punt there, things were looking pretty good.
Well, we knew we just dodged a bullet, though, Dave, with that field goal, and at that time, I didn't feel like we really had this thing in hand, and I didn't want our players to think that we did either. And so when I talked to them at halftime, I made it known to them that we didn't play as well in that first half as we could. And we practiced the same way on Tuesday. Tuesday, the first part of that practice didn't go well, but the second half was really good. And so I tried to draw that analogy that we're going to play this rest of this game like we did that second practice on Saturday. And we were confident, but I didn't think we were overconfident at that time.
Well, we'll take a look at how the second half went for the Wildcats right after this.
We beat Notre Dame, but we still got 11 more games ahead of us, The ranking to us won't matter to the end of the year.
Well, Dwayne Bates said it well, Gary. Only one game behind you at this point, actually a game and a half now, and you're leading by 2 touchdowns at halftime.
And I really felt what Dwayne echoed was the feeling of our team. I didn't think for a minute our guys were going to take that Notre Dame game as being a one-game season. Plus, we had so much written and said that it was more what Notre Dame didn't do than what we did that I thought would be a catalyst and a motivator for our team.
Well, it didn't take long at all for the Wildcats to extend their lead after halftime. Here's that second play of the third quarter, Gary.
Well, this was a great play by Rodney. He plays this ball as well as he can, makes a great catch. Now, he doesn't need to do that, and that's close to a penalty. And we're going to chat with Rodney about that, but it was a great football play, and he certainly has a right to celebrate, but celebrate with his teammates in the right way.
Back to a 3-touchdown lead, and here we'll see Schnurr to the freshman Matt Hartle.
Well, again, we're moving the ball, and that's a nice catch and a great throw by Steve, and we're in control. We can do what we want to do. We just run into a problem here. We get a bad snap on a field goal attempt by Sam Balancisi, and you can see Paul tries to handle it, Sam tries to kick it, but that operation's too slow, and Sam is the first one down to cover this thing, and that's great intensity by Sam. That's just what should happen.
Now Miami back on offense here, and your defense still applying pressure with Casey Daly and Larry Curry.
Well, that was a great play by both those guys, and that was a 4th down play if I remember correctly, and they'd gone for it. We backed them up even further, and then we try another field goal, and we get another bad snap. And so there's 6 points that we've squandered just with bad snaps.
This is a 17-yard loss. Now here we'll take a look at Ty King, who had gone into the game for their leading rusher, McCullough.
Well, and he's fast and makes us miss a couple guys, and he breaks a big draw play there in a critical situation and gets down to the 1-yard line.
And this starts to set him up here, and then we'll see Sam Ricketts go to the air, and a great catch here.
Well, it's a terrific catch, and it was a great throw, and we really didn't have bad coverage. It's just 2 guys making a play, and now I knew we were in trouble.
Still 11 minutes to go. You're up by 2 touchdowns, but Miami on the move.
Well, this is a 4th down and 10 pass, and all we have to do is run to coverage and let them throw the ball underneath, break on the ball, and we're fine. But we had a linebacker run the wrong coverage, and we missed a tackle in there, and we gave them a chance to get right in the ball game. And he makes a great throw here. That's a difficult pass to make. And we had a guy, our safety didn't follow him across like he should, and they end up now back in the ball game, and we got problems.
28-21 with 8 minutes to go at that point, and here Schnurr to Darren Drexler, and this sure looked like a catch.
Well, the TV replays show it was a catch. This is a great play by Drexler. If we'd have hit him in stride, we'd have scored a touchdown and won the game, but we didn't. We didn't quite make the throw we should. And this is a blown coverage. We had not adjusted our coverage to this particular set, and we got hurt on it, and now they're in the end zone again. And we got our ball game on our hands, and they're going to go for 2 here, and we're going to dodge a bullet on this play because they make this and they're ahead, but he overthrows it, and we still have a chance to win the game.
Now you get the ball back with 2:22 remaining. You make 1 first down, but on 4th down, here's Burton to punt.
Well, we get a bad snap, and then it goes between his legs to compound the problem, and he takes it down and gets hold of it to 1, and they get the ball, and so then they fumble. They run 1 play here, and then we hold them, and there's about 12 seconds left on the clock, and they fumble the snap, and then the clock's going to run out because they're out of time, but the official stops the clock and lets them unpile, which is a judgment call by that official. He could have gone either way. If he hadn't made that call, the clock runs out, we win the game. By making the call, it gave them time to stop the clock, and they come on, kick a field goal, and that's the ball game. We squander a 21-point lead. 20
yards by Chad Seitz to give Miami the victory, 30-28. Gary, as we take a look at the stats, Northwestern with the edge in first downs, a sizable edge in rushing yardage. Miami the edge in passing yards, though they really compiled that in the second half.
Well, we did a good job with first downs there, Dave. The only thing is we didn't get critical first downs in the fourth quarter when we needed them, when we absolutely had to have them. We made plays early, didn't make plays late. Darnell rushed for 152 yards himself, and I was happy to see the other 2 guys get some carries in there as well. And then the passing yardage, they played a mobile quarterback in there, and he hit some big passes, and he stretched our defense, and that was a real problem. Our total yards is down because we had 70-some yards in minus yardage because of the 2 punting situations. Otherwise, we had a decent day. We would have had 382 yards of total offense had we not had those 2 punting situations.
Well, let's go back to Dyke Stadium and sample some of the post-game opinion.
Make sure you give Miami of Ohio and Randy Walker's club and coaches a great deal of credit because they out-hustled us, they out-hit us, they out-coached us, and they outplayed us in this game. And it was evident to me on the sideline as things were unfolding. We were making some big plays, and really I thought our defense was in control, but we were giving up some big plays, and we were never in control of that game, I didn't feel. Even when Rodney intercepted that pass.
A lot of people, when that pick for a touchdown happened on the first play of the second half or whatever it was, a lot of football teams would have fizzled right there. Because you get them all hepped up in the locker room, hey, we're still in it, we're still in it, we're still in it, and bang, you give up 7 real quick. And I was worried about how well we'd hang in there. I know there's something special about our kids at the end of the game because they do this all the time. This isn't a once-in-a-while thing. We are going to play hard till it says 2 zeros on the clock.
It's a great feeling. It's a lot of hard work. I don't know if a lot of people understand the kind of work that goes into being a Division I football team, and to get a win like this it's unbelievable.
Sam Ricketts, the Miami quarterback, with a big second half as he passed for a couple of touchdowns to lead the Redskins back to that victory. Coming up, the Wildcats' leading rusher, Darnell Autry, after this on the Gary Barnett Show. Welcome back to the Gary Barnett Show, and it's a pleasure to welcome the leading rusher for the Wildcats, starting running back Darnell Autry, the sophomore from Tempe, Arizona. Darnell, 3 starts in your college career, 171 yards. You topped 160 yards against Notre Dame and then 150 against Miami this past weekend. So you're off to a pretty good career average per game, I'd say.
Yeah, not bad, but we got to keep coming and keep getting better, I guess,
What do you bring to the Northwestern offense?
I think I bring some enthusiasm, some excitement, I think I bring a little bit of leadership, and most of all, I bring a team player. More importantly, and most importantly, I'm a team player.
Well, you definitely bring some enthusiasm and excitement. I think that's obvious now. You guys have experienced really the whole gamut of emotions the past 2 weeks with the Notre Dame and Miami games. What's it been like from your perspective?
It's been a roller coaster, but I think if you look at the overall big picture, we're a good ball club, and we'll definitely bounce back from both, the Notre Dame win and the Miami of Ohio loss. So, 2 games don't make a season. So.
Well, now, how did a guy from the Valley of the Sun end up here on the shores of Lake Michigan?
Probably academics, and a chance to, be underneath Coach Barnett and be a part of the team that turns the school around and history around.
Now, you're a theater major.
Right.
So you want to be an Academy Award winner someday?
Yeah, an Oscar, an Emmy, or whatever, whatever, any award, it don't matter.
Well, you'd settle for a Heisman.
Right, yeah, absolutely, but hey, it all takes lots of work, so, got a long way to go.
How tough will it be for you guys to come back this week against the Air Force?
Not very tough at all. Like I said, we're a good ball club, we'll regroup. Coaches will regroup us, and we'll group ourselves, and we're excited to play them.
All right, well, good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Darnell. Darnell Autry. Now, the Wildcats attracted all sorts of attention following their win over Notre Dame, and among those paying attention, the sports writers on TV, who number among them a couple of former Wildcats.
Nobody even said the score or anything.
The score was 17-15.
We can't say it again.
17-15.
And who won?
And Rick Tellender won the game for Northwestern. We were seated side by side in the press box, and Rick was somewhere at halftime. And what happened, Rick? You just got superstitious.
No,
and
what happened was
froze.
I
never came back to his
was
seat.
in the press box there, and I went back to get a hot dog or some free food, as we journalists will do. And Northwestern was ahead at the half. What? 10-9.
10-9.
10-9. And so I'm eating it, and then I ate an apple, and I'm getting ready to go down to my seat. I watch a kickoff up there at the top of the press box, and I have to bend down because the roof is so sloping. It's such a crummy press box, although I do like it now.
It's a great press box.
And Northwestern started doing well, and I thought, well, the third quarter is when Notre Dame would always overwhelm its lesser opponents. And Northwestern kept doing well, and I thought, well, I can't move because clearly I'm part of the reason that this is happening. So then I started to go towards my seat, and Notre Dame would do something, so I'd move back by this garbage can, and Northwestern would surge again. So I couldn't leave because I was clearly connected through some aura, some divine
cosmic
this thing
force
coming from God through me
Devoted to the garbage can.
through the Gipper, down onto the field. And so I didn't move for the whole second half. And Joust is sitting there, my computer, my notes, everything. I never touched any of them. I took no notes. I knew if I moved, Northwestern would lose.
Speaking of God, as the game ended, Roger Valdesari, the emeritus sports information director at Notre Dame, he extended his hand to me and said, "I've always known there was a God, but only now have I realized he's a Methodist."
Hey, once every 33 years.
Hey,
I bought this T-shirt while I was there. All the students were wearing these.
Shake down the thunder.
Let's see that.
There's Mr. Newt himself
yes,
there, Ben.
Sirree.
I didn't even take the
Newt
tags out, but
Rockney.
I have been wearing it because I just, I like. I'm a compassionate guy.
It's a relic.
I'm a compassionate guy, and I feel for Notre Dame.
Guys,
You really do.
It was no fluke. It was no fluke. Northwestern beat him on both sides of the ball. They won because Notre Dame missed an extra point, and then Paulus fell on the seat of his pants when he was stepping back to pass for 2 points to tie the game.
All right, thank you, guys. We'll take a moment and let the cigar smoke clear, and we'll come back and take a look at the upcoming game between the Wildcats and the Air Force. Welcome back to the Gary Barnett Show. Well, no bye week this time around. You get right back into it, and I would have to think that you're probably just as glad to play again this week.
You ain't kidding, Dave. We got to go undo what we just did, and we want to do it in front of our fans and our students. And we appreciated our student body coming out and supporting us the way they did, and we feel bad that we let them down and let our fans down. And we got a tough situation now, and we've got to bounce back. This is going to be a game of character. We said early that we'd find out what kind of team we had when we faced real adversity, and now we've got real adversity, and and we're going to play a team that's the most disciplined team in the country, the most difficult offense that we'll have to prepare against. It's something that we don't see any other time, and we've got to be disciplined. We lost our discipline Saturday, and we've got to get it back. On
top of all that, this Air Force team comes in seeing red. You beat them last year, and that's really what kept them out of a bowl game.
Just what we need is somebody seeing red again, but we're going to have to play very well on both sides. And there isn't any carryover going in this game. We haven't played anybody that's done anything like they do on offense or defense, and that's a concern for me. But our guys we've got to get after it this week, and we know it.
How do you think they'll respond?
Oh, I expect them to respond very favorably. I expect this to be a good, hard week of practice. We'll have their attention, and I expect them to come out and flat out undo what they did.
All right, well, good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Dave.
Saturday afternoon at Dyke Stadium, the Wildcats take on the Falcons of the Air Force, an 11:30 a.m. kickoff on Saturday at Evanston. Now, for Coach Gary Barnett, I'm Dave Eanet. Thanks very much for being with us, everybody, and we'll see you again next week.